It's funny how we say there's a shortage of water, you know. In my opinion, I don't think there can ever really be a shortage of water, right? Now, when I said this, I immediately, thought about all the, you know, empathetic people out there that were going to be like, oh no, I can't believe you're just saying that there's no such thing as a shortage of water and how it's possible. But hear me out, right? If you do research on the five most drought-riven, cities in the world, in the world, okay, I'm doing in the world. If you do the five most drought-ridden cities in the entire world, you will find that what is it? It's Yemen, Djibouti, West Sahara, Libya, and Jordan. Jordan. Those are the top five most driest drought-ridden cities regarding rain, right? So you say, oh man, those drought-ridden countries, they need water, this, that, that. Those countries are all right there in one like tiny little circle. They're all in one little circle, in one little area, one little what? Dry area. The entire planet isn't made to be consistently wet or have a consistent wet season for X amount of time all year round. Certain places aren't as hospitable as other places. Doesn't make it like, oh, let's feel sorry for those people over there. They really need water. No, that's not it. And I don't want to be the simple guy to have to tell y'all this, but this is the situation, okay? Two things happen. Either a human element comes. Now, hear me out, okay? Because I know there are human elements out there that come into play like corporations, and what they'll do is they'll basically what they'll do is they'll build a dam or build something that redirects the water that should be going to, say, a village that feeds, rivers, and makes things lush, and it'll make things go dry in that area. Yes, I understand that. I do understand that. But on the flip side, the water doesn't actually go anywhere. Because I'm always just saying, basically, we're always under the impression that there's a water shortage, save the water, you see people like, oh, I do this and it saves this much water today and it's this much water. And we getting like this thing because it feels good. It's like, saving water, I save water and it feels good. And I don't overconserve as if water is not abundant, as if water doesn't fall from the sky. Now, if you're not in an area where water is abundant, listen, as harsh as this may sound, fucking move, yo. Move. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You should move because we weren't meant to stay in one area for our entire existence. Our ancestors, they stayed in certain areas, but they knew that throughout times and through certain years that certain things happened, and they knew that they had to migrate. You know what I'm saying? Even down the Mississippi River, where the natives went up and down the Mississippi River. Why? Because water was there the whole time, so you have the vibrant water, and not only do we know that the water's there, basically that water is like a pump. It's like a pump, a vibrant vein. So anything along that stream is going to be vibrant, and it's going to be lush, and it's going to be flourishing. And that includes the animals, that includes the game, because the animals want the water. So now you can go down, you can migrate, and you can, you know what I'm saying? You can get your water, you can get you can get your animals. This is what I'm talking about, but we don't do this anymore. We drew lines, We drew those lines up in Africa, around Djibouti, all the rest of that stuff, and we drew some lines over here, we drew some lines in the States. And so basically what happens is, if something goes bad with the water there, it's just like, man, I just live here. We don't really migrate anymore. We don't, we're in this new state of mind. So we want to blame the planet or blame the situation that doesn't exist when it's basically on us. It's just like, you're supposed to move around, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a monsoon that comes this year and that year, and people go and they wait for that monsoon and stuff like that. That's just what you're gonna have to wait for. Now, if that monsoon doesn't come, then your crops die and all this other stuff. What happens? You have a choice. You can move to a more flourishing spot, like all the animals do on the planet. No matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter what territory they are, they will fucking y'all seen it. They will travel hundreds and 200s of miles for what? For what? Water. So you have to understand that when it comes to the environment, don't let them always try and put a play on your mind when it comes to this whole green thing, you know, like make you feel guilty and there's water shortage and there's water this and there's a shortage of natural thought, so to speak. There's a shortage of natural thought. We don't have our natural instinctual mind to think the way we used to think. If we did, we'd understand that there's no such thing as a shortage of water. Water is everywhere. Water is the purest form of energy on the planet. If there's anything that shows you that it just transforms, it's water. It doesn't go anywhere. They can't even steal it from you. They can't steal it from you. It's right there. It's water. It's everywhere. You know, so don't fall for the water gimmick and the water shortages and so on and so forth. We don't have a water shortage. We have a water toxicity problem. You know what I mean? We got a water toxicity problem. We do have a water toxicity problem. We make our water toxic through industrialization and pesticides and stuff that leaches into our water and so much garbage and the way we get the water to ourselves and through the pipes and everything. So we kind of do that to ourselves and in turn, you know what I'm saying? And then we say there's not a shortage of water. You know, shortage of water, you know, maybe a shortage of potable water, you know. Shout out to Flint, Michigan, you know. A shortage of potable water, you know, but I wouldn't say that there's a shortage of water. We've been on this planet for how long? The water hasn't changed. You get what I'm saying? The water hasn't changed. The water hasn't changed. The water hasn't went anywhere. You get what I'm saying? The water hasn't went anywhere. It's the same water. It goes up and it comes down all over the planet. It just goes up and comes down at different times. That's all. And then we go, oh, it's drought, and this is drought-ridden, and that place is drought-ridden. Then move. Move. You know? If you were out there on the Sahara, or you out there in the desert or something like that, and you couldn't find water or something like that, what would you do? I tell you what I'd do. I'd follow the elephants. Because the elephants are probably going to go get themselves some water. Why? Because they're not sitting there going, man, this drought, this is all messed up. My life, this earth, what are we going to do? They're like, nigga, I'm going to get some water. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? So we have some things that, you know, we've gotten away from, you know, because we've been, you know, bullshitting for too long. You know, we've gotten away from our natural train of thought, which, you know, gives us the natural instincts to do what we need to do when we need something. You know? If Flint, Michigan, now I'm not telling you, hey, yo, man, everybody up in Flint, Michigan needs to move, but, I mean, if you can't change the structure of your water, you can't breathe there. You can't, I wouldn't breathe there. You're not at an optimal level. You know what I'm saying? Technically speaking, you should move, you know. If that was a small town or anywhere else, you know, people would have just left. The businesses would have closed down. They would have all left, you know what I'm saying? So, technically speaking, that tells you the water toxicity is, you know, that high. It's not potable. You leave, you know. If that was an animal or something like that, a few of them would die, and they would all either die and be dead, and their species would either end, or they would have to move and go somewhere else and evolve. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to be, you know, I'm trying to be real with y'all and give y'all the, you know, the real spill instead of, you know, telling y'all, spinning y'all on some water shortage stuff like that. There's water everywhere on the planet. It's just certain places at different times, and certain parts of the planet just aren't as flourishing and aren't as hospitable, as other parts of the planet. And that's just the way it is. Everything's not going to be a lush green jungle. And if it's not, and you're going through hard times there, you're just going through hard times there, and you need to move. Or just understand that if you continue to stay there, you're going to continue to go through hard times. The natives didn't stay up here and just rustle out through winter. You know what I'm saying? Some may have, but most, if not 80%, if not more, they migrated. They migrated down south. Why? So that you can thrive. You can thrive. You can thrive. Your children can thrive. What would be the ideal thing to do? The ideal thing would probably be to do, it would have a mating season. You know what I'm saying? If you were, humans, this is what animals do, so that you can do certain things so that you can optimize on bringing your youth in at a certain time. That's for us. That's for animals. That's for what else? If you guys grow, you know this, but anybody that grows, they know, that's also for plants. A certain time. They put out their seeds a certain time. They put out their pollen a certain time. If you suffer from allergies, it's always a time of the year. This is all happening for a specific reason, specifically for survival. So everything on this planet knows that it's not the planet that needs to revolve around it. It needs to revolve around the planet. You understand?